So this is a major role breakthrough for you at this point in your career. What was the process from you or the production's initial interest to audition to landing the role, as an example of how it played out for you?
Well, I knew Dennis. He came to see me do stand up, and he was putting a pilot together at that time. And so he wanted me to be in the pilot. And we we hit it off, and the pilot never came to fruition. So he cast me in a short film that he wrote and directed um, sometime later. And then after that, sometime after that, he texted me and said, I'm making a movie. Um, and the rest is history.
Okay, that's easy. So you didn't even have to audition?
I went in and read for the casting director, Edie, and I was the only person at the audition, though.
Okay. Also, you're doing an excellent Russian accent in the film. How did you nail down this particular accent? And was it part of the reason you auditioned well for the role?
Oh, thank you for saying that. Yeah, well, with the Russian accent, I have never done one, so I just watched Barry, the show Barry, and um, I love that show. It's such a great show. I love
Awesome.
Barry. It makes me laugh so much. And so I looked at the Russian gangsters in Barry, and they had such great, funny accents. And so when I went into the audition, I just brought in a kind of a version of that big accent. And then before we went to shoot it, the director wrote us, the people playing the Russians, and he said, you don't need to get a coach. I'll just write it, just say it how it's written, say the lines how they're written. So I'm really glad that you bought it.
All right, excellent.
Yeah, yeah.
So your college background and early Los Angeles experience was an intention to be an actor before you began your stand-up comedy career. What was it like creating a character that harkened back to your roots in acting and persona formation?
I mean, I always love acting and stand up. So, playing comedic characters is one of my favorite things to do. So I've been doing that since a young age. I've always done plays, and I had an acting scholarship. So, and then in my stand up, I do a lot of characters as well. So I'm always like acting and doing stand up and writing. I've always been a multi hyphenate until, yeah, I've always been a multi hyphenate. When I started doing stand up, I became a multi hyphenate, but I've always been writing and acting. Yeah, I love all of them. I feel very fortunate to be able to do all three.
Awesome. The character of Svetlana is also an exotic dancer. Although that was not her main story arc in the film, there was one scene where she was shown in her occupation. Given that you do that very funny stripper bit in your act, how did you want to express the exotic dancer part of the character?
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I love that part of my act too. So many people love that little
Killer.
bit. I really love physical comedy. And so I do a lot of physical comedy, and it's one of my favorite things to do in addition to stand up and storytelling. So, when we did the scene in the movie at the strip club, it was so fun because they brought in this great stunt coordinator, and he helped us. He had another professional stunt woman play one of the strippers, and he taught us how to do a fight scene. Like, so we had this great fight scene, this epic fight scene in the strip club, and it was so funny. And I think they cut most of that, so it's just, you just see like me pushing the other girl, but that was such a fun day, and it turned out so great. So I can't speak highly enough about the specificity of choreography, and especially if you're doing stunts, having that professional there to choreograph like who does what when, because it just takes the comedy to the next level. Like it adds that
Sure.
visual element and that physical element, and that way nobody gets hurt. You're because it's all very planned out and structured.
Nice. So you work with one of the best and most prolific comedy directors in film, Dennis Dugan, who is known for hits like Happy Gilmore. How did he encourage you to be as comedic as possible in your role? And how did you add more to Svetlana based on your interaction with him?
Well, Dennis and I had a meeting before shooting about we had rehearsal on set that was super helpful, just running it all before we shot it. I can't speak enough about the importance of rehearsal. And we also had a meeting before shooting on Zoom where he talked about bringing the character down. So that's like a note that I get a lot because I can do these big characters. Is typically I get a note of like, let's bring it down, super grounded, super real. That even though it's like a wacky, this girl's got like a lot going on, it's like bringing the humanity to it and struggling with things in life, trying to have a better life, um, and that kind of stuff.
I think you achieved it. This is Patrick McDonald for HollywoodChicago.com. Copyright 2020.